Well, to connect youth and time, right, and this kind of idea of inconstant stay, right, like maybe youth doesn't last forever. So, right, if the conflict is this war, right, with time for love of you, maybe he's thinking that the poet won't be able to love his lover forever. Right, maybe, at some point they will die, and, then they won't be around to love anymore. But I wonder if there are other interpretations as well.
Well, a question I have is, in a war, both people want something, right? And I think I agree, the speaker wants to be with their lover, because that's what people want when they love someone. But what does time want? And I'm thinking, is like time has to pass in order for it to work, and when time passes, people get older. So it's time.
Or like lines. That's why I feel like the decay part is important, and it's capitalized. Like 11, lines 11 and 12, where it says, "Where wasteful time debateth." I'm assuming that's just like just debate.
I agree.
Old Shakespearean language. Where wasteful time debates, like tries to figure, like, again, is at war with wasteful time. Maybe it's like saying that time is determining or trying to figure out if it's going to make you decay, to change your day of youth to sullied night. So maybe that's time's motivation, is like time. That's the way time works. It breaks things down in nature. It like returns you to something.
But then why is it debating? Because if time passes, then there naturally is decay. Why would it need to debate with decay?
I think it's like debating how quickly it's going to make you die. It's debating with decay to change your day of youth to sullied night. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not.
I just had an idea, thinking about that image of things growing, plants. I'm also seeing sap in line 7, right? Sap being the sap that comes from a tree. I wonder if these are images that have to do with spring, because I feel like spring also has this sense of, right, it's short-lived, it's not forever, and then the seasons pass, spring turns to summer, to fall, to winter, and everything dies and decays in winter, right? But with spring, right, maybe everything comes back and cycles over again. But maybe time works in a circle, but if time has to debate with decay, if decay wins that argument, right, then maybe it never goes back to spring. You're kind of in this eternal winter where it all kind of dies but never comes back, and then that's it.
Can you say what you said again, but in a summary? Because I
Sure.
kind of lost your point.
Sure. If spring turns to summer, to fall, to winter,
Just
and then to
naturally
spring
through
again,
time.
right? Right. Time is then a circle or a cycle. But decay, maybe like decay is like winter, and it stops it at winter. So the cycle doesn't keep going. And in this case, right, like your youth never comes back again.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So time wants to keep going because it's time, but when you're old, you're decaying, you're in winter. They're like, time is saying, do I keep going? And decay is saying, no, you're at your end.
Stop, exactly.
Why is it calling time wasteful then? What did you two think about that word? I thought that was a weird word to use for time. I was confused about that.
I'm not sure.
Well, I think like when I think of the opposite of like, what can we do instead of waste? Like we recycle, right? So like we reuse what we've already used once. But I guess you can, like when time passes, you can never get that time back. So maybe like we can't reuse or recycle what's the older time. I don't know.
I think it makes me think that I might have a different interpretation than Sarek. I wonder if we think of debate meaning we're on two different sides. Like maybe they're just debating and plotting together. Like we're wasteful time, because time wastes things.
It's like conspiring.
Yeah.
Instead of arguing.
The debate is real. The debate is the war, right? It's the poet versus time, and decay is secretly on time's side.
They're debating together. They're on the same team.
Right.
They're
It's
like plotting to take away this person.
I see. If it's plot, okay.
Right. It's like I drew a little poets on one side.
They're both
decay
doing
on the
it to change your day, to take away your youth.
That's the only way I can.
I see that.
I think that also makes sense. I still don't know which interpretation I'm more leaning towards, but I can see
I like marker.
both have a point.
Even though I made my point, I kind of like markers more.
Okay,
It just
why?
felt like it clicked more naturally. I think that
Huh.
I think just hearing all of us kind of have that realization of, oh, like it. I don't know. Inside of me, like it felt like it sat right. Something
Okay.
clicked.
I still don't really understand though how then that fits with time being, if time and decay are not together, how are they being wasteful? Is it like
No, they are together, right?
But then how are they wasteful? What are they
Because
wasting?
they're wasting time and decay. Time is forcing this beautiful person who's youthful that I'm in love with. Time is wasteful. It's like forcing that person to get old.
Okay.
And I'm trying to find the part where it talks about them getting. But anyway, they're like wasting and forcing you to die and forcing me to lose you. He takes from you.
Yeah.
For love of you as he takes from you. It's like taking time away. That's wasteful. You're like making someone who's great and whom I love die.
Okay, so can we think about what then their main points? It sounds like we're saying time is sort of this enemy because it's taking away the youth of the person I love, so that eventually I won't be able to be with them.
I mean, maybe we're talking about youth, right? Like maybe they're saying that their lover is more beautiful when they're young. Maybe the poet is actually worried that when they get older, they won't be as beautiful and they won't love them anymore. Maybe the poet only loves them for their youth.
But then in the end, he says, "As he takes from you, I engraft you new." So that almost seems to be disagreeing with the point you're making, because they're saying even though he's taking from you, I'm still creating something new in you, or maybe I'm seeing something new in you. Like even though you're not physically beautiful, I'm learning to love other characteristics of you.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't think about that. Right? Maybe engraft is not taken literally.
Yeah,
Right.
because that wouldn't. I mean, it is fitting in with this plant
Yeah.
theme that we have going on, but you wouldn't be able to actually engraft a person, right?
No. Right. Right. Exactly.
So it's some metaphor for I am like creating something new, or I'm seeing something new in
to
you.
love, right? Something to love, yeah. And just to return to this kind of like claim about how time is this enemy, right? I think also in lines 9 and 10, right before, like conceit. I know that someone who's conceited, like they're almost like have too much pride, and they think they're the best. But I also know conceit, and I would look this up, but I think it has to do with like being false or being fake.
Huh. I thought
So it's like this, the conceit of this inconstant state, right? We know this is a temporary time, youth, and the conceit is that you look the most beautiful before my sight now, but later on, right, your beauty will fade.
I know we're at a point where we have to wrap up. I think we're really close to developing a claim.
Yeah.
We just need to think some more. Margaret, do you want to kind of summarize what your understanding of the claim is, or what you're thinking?
I would say that the speaker views, and I'd have to reread it a couple times, but if I had to take a guess, it's the speaker finds this person they're in love with beautiful, and they are feeling bad about the fact that this person is going to grow older, which is eventually going to mean they're going to die and they're going to lose them. And so they're in this like battle with time. I'm not sure I've fully figured out that line 14 thing where they sort of throw that new, like, yeah, time's taking you away, but maybe I agree with you, Hamilton, that maybe they're finding new things to fall in love with as the person's aging. But I think the main claim is just like time takes people away from you, or like we're in when we're in love with someone, we're in a battle with time because time is eventually gonna take them from us.
And that kind of takes us to the why. It sounds like the writer maybe has some sort of fear or concern about this happening, and that's where they're writing about it.
If I could add one final, just to point at, like maybe if we wanted to think about turning this into like a writing piece, something, we're talking about battling with time, and we talked about this capitalized decay, capitalized time, and to have a war with them, right? It feels like we're really focusing a lot on personification.
Yeah.
So
And
that would be like evidence.
Yeah, I feel like we would have to use
For this.
personification,
Yeah.
to explain that how this battle with time is taking place.
Definitely. So just to kind of wrap up, we were able to summarize, we identified thematic topics, we came to maybe a rough draft of a claim, we still need to think why is the writer talking about these things, and then we've already pointed out some evidence in the words we found, and we would just need to bring it together and explain what the effects of this language are.
Yeah, and I appreciate you writing all that down, Kira, just to keep it all for us so that we can come back to it
Yeah.
later on.
For sure.